Hi guys, welcome to Business Reviews. Today we're going to talk about COVID, and what we're going to discuss is not about a rant or anything medical. It's about opportunities you can take or you might want to consider. So I'll have a list of ideas I have. I'd like you to go through each one of them and see, hey, is that something I want to take advantage of, or is that something I can go into? Generally, if you want to take advantage of an opportunity, you have a head start, you have an entry advantage. There's a high barrier to entry, high capital requirement, high collaboration requirement. If you have connections, if you have the capital to do it, there are a lot of things that I think you should take advantage of. You might want to build the capability now, especially when you're around these businesses. I'll be discussing three things. So the coronavirus will be impacting logistics the most. And why we need to talk about logistics, it's a very good opportunity for you to go into. It could be motorcycles, it could be personal delivery or transport, chauffeur services. I think we will be limiting transportation to high value transportation. And for low value transportation, I think we will be sticking to work from home situations. Time will tell. In some way or the other, logistics will be impacted positively, especially for high value transportation. So to give you an idea, public and private sector has always been separate when it comes to transportation. What meant halfway was prosumer build, which was like your Grab or your Uber. This will happen a lot with logistics. Companies would be hiring couriers, personnel for a group of people or per set. So I think logistics companies can actually go into this type of business where they would offer a package to be delivering cross residence from people to people who are working from home. I think this would be a very good entry for logistics companies when it comes to packages, and like To Go, Air 21. Motorcycles could be a good buy. You might want to stock up on motorcycles so you might be able to sell them in the future. Products around motorcycles will also become more premium as these couriers would be carrying something more. You'd be having more, there'd be bigger demand for helmet, safety gear, brakes, accessories around those. I also see a potential entry for vans. If you had purchased a van that you tried for UV Express but it failed, or you have another van, you might want to consider not just having your van for hotels. You might want to use your vans for companies that will cater to fetching or delivering your employees from their houses to a particular location. So you have to do that per area. I think that will be a thing when it comes to events. I think that will be a service that will be provided in the future. Travel. When it comes to travel, high-end travel services might be flourishing as well. So your VIPs might flourish. That might be a thing. Groceries. I think personal deliveries might also be a thing. Honest Bee tried this. I saw their financials. I don't think that's working, but I think this is an opportunity for somebody to jump in and prove that it's possible. This might be the start. Might be. So this might be the start. I know it's already happening, but this might be increasing. I think it's not there. I think it's still infant level. Air conditioning. I think a lot of people will realize eventually that air conditioning will be needed, especially summer is coming up and coming. Air conditioning is a good buy right now, especially for people who have just started working from home. They realize that hardware breaks down or their equipment needs cooling, so that might be a thing. Of course, they might want to have that comfort as well. Services around air conditioning like cleaning will also be helpful because somebody might want to clean their air conditioning at this time, as well as ancillary services around air conditioning and parts, materials like Freon and stuff like that, welding and whatever, installation services, those things might be helpful as well. Hygiene products might be also a good thing, might be selling. Right now we know that there's a static increase when it comes to like masks and bidets, they say. I'm not sure, haven't been to a hardware to confirm this. Hygiene products might be big. New soaps might be developed, new packaging. That might be for Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Colgate-Palmolive. Temperature products. So temperature products might becoming bigger. If there are temperature products for your phone, like an attachment, that might become big. I think there's a need for that. People might want that instead of carrying around a thermometer. A thermometer might also be selling. So those guns that they use, more of safety things like training for first aid, what to do, that might become more popular. Those services might be offered by companies in the near future. Another specific part on health and hygiene products is UV light. I'm not sure if UV light really works. I think a medical professional should comment on this, but regardless, I think that people will be buying some of this due to ignorance or due to the knowledge that this will be working. UV light might be a thing for in the future. Also, you might want to watch out for bonds and credit. That might be big at this time, especially a lot of people might need it. Just be careful that who you're lending to would be creating value. You'd be happy to be holding bonds and securities at this time. Okay, so I have a firm stand on this. If I was gonna cut loss and I had stocks on Tourism, I would actually sell resorts, leisure. I don't think that you should be betting on them. If I was gonna cut loss, would be thrown out the window. Airlines, Bloomberry Resorts. So I think that's gonna be a global impact. The leisure part, people might be averse to some degree. Since summer is coming up, there is a chance that people might not want to travel. They also might want not to risk it on the holidays, on Christmas. If in case that were, it should be for the following year. The second part of this video is about prosumer IT services. I see that the IT business is becoming stagnant. I see some opportunities that are not being taken care of. The COVID situation will give us more opportunities to extract value out of that, provide more professional services. Prosumer digital services, it might be a thing. It might start this year. It might start becoming big next year. There's definitely a use case, and I think a demand will be there. And I think enterprises are having a problem that requires a solution, and I think this can be monetized and value can be given in return. Similar to the Uber example where you have private and public items that are not merging. The birth of the child is the Uber and Grabs. You'd have prosumer IT services. This happened with digital cameras. You would have, in terms of hardware, personal firewalls separate from the modem. So when you go more detailed, I think there's an opportunity for that. I don't know how much that will reflect. So you'd have to gauge how much of that you'd want to take advantage of. Two would be connections that are prosumer. In the country, there are big challenges when it comes to upload speeds, and if you wanted to do that, you'd have to go for fiber. I think not everybody has that, so there might be a package like that's not fully synchronous when it comes to upload and download speed. I think some retail still goes for like 600, still low. Password services, I think online password services might be a thing. LastPass, these things. I think there is an opportunity for them to pitch to B2Bs or enterprises to offer for their employees. They might want to offer this at tiered services as well. Logistics might also want to partner with professional IT services where you would have a tiered approach to dealing with employees, in such a way that your high-level employees would get their own personal person to visit them, or every 3 of them or every 5 of them would have a personal person to visit them if they have a problem with their device. And I think that might be one to for every rank and file employee you have. So you'd have different packages, or I think that could be just one package that be sold by one provider. Home service might be a prosumer type of service that would be sold. Managed identity services. I think there would be a static increase when it comes to managed identity services because there would be more fraudulent activity, so you'd want to prevent that. MIS might be bigger, along with RSA tokens and the like. CCTV systems might be big, depending on how ethical it is for you to watch your employees while they're working or while they're at home. Some contracts might have this when you get employed. Personal static IP addresses or IP blocks across personal residential across might be a thing as well. Some enterprise might want to consider that, but I think there's a new model, so that might be slow and it requires more partnerships to do that. So I think that might be a thing in the future. VPN, of course, personal VPN or prosumer type of package of VPNs might be a thing. The tend-to browser approach might be viable. I'm not sure if it's economically viable, but I have doubts. But I think there would be a prosumer enterprise-grade product that will be able to sell something like that. Number 3, the ask is for you to like the page. So if you have been following me for some time, if you go over to the Business Reviews blog page, go over to the community. So you swipe here like this or that way in your end, and then click invite and invite all your friends to like this page. So that will help me a lot. And if you have time, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if this has been helpful for you or you want more ideas like this, anytime there's an external event and see what opportunities out there, like and share the channel for people who want to be financially smarter. If you like this video, click like and subscribe to my channel. It's also on YouTube. Thank you for watching.